The serenity prayer is God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This prayer can be extremely helpful because it encourages us to turn to a power greater than ourselves and sorting out what we can and cannot do. Often, our greatest source of discomfort is in our continuing attempt to change people and events over which we are powerless. The serenity prayer reminds us that we cannot achieve the impossible. Instead, we can stop trying to play God and accept the very real possibility that the people and events in our lives are part of a greater vision of a higher power. In doing so, it becomes easier to accept the things we cannot change. Yet, there are plenty of situations in which we can act effectively to improve our circumstances, changing what we can. It takes courage to see ourselves as we really are and to attempt to make positive, lasting changes, especially when we are reluctant to change at all. We ask for God in our understanding. We ask the God of our understanding to provide us with the impetus to act, acknowledging that what we can most readily change is ourselves. The gift of wisdom enables us to know when to act and when to let go. In the serenity prayer, we turn to God of our understanding for the attributes necessary to live life more fully: serenity, courage, and wisdom. And with that, I turn it over to our speaker for tonight, which is Lori Kay.
Thank you. I think that serenity prayer is, it sounds simple and it's not easy to understand. Never mind doing it, just even to understand what that even means for each of us, I think is a big honking deal. And I think when it comes to how we traditionally look at our spirituality, we tend to be waiting for a lot of things. So what are the things that we wait for? We wait for God's timing. We wait for grace. We wait for healing. We wait for answers to prayers. There's probably a much longer list, but that's what I came up with. So we wait on God. Now, if it's true that God is ever present, that grace is always raining down on us, then there's something amiss. There's something wrong with our waiting if it's already coming, or at least, if it's already coming, what are we waiting for? So it would seem like the rain is waiting on us. There is a mismatch between what's coming in and where we are standing. So if you want to see it as rain, we've got the umbrella up. Or we've got it partially over us and we're just getting a little bit, right? That's one way to sort of look at it. I think that idea of alignment is incredibly helpful because it says to me, first of all, I can get out of that idea of something's wrong with me, or all of the things that I say to myself about my worthiness or lack thereof. And instead I say, I'm needing to noodle around here and find where the alignment place is. I'm just trying to find it. I'm like a little kid. I'm looking for the entryway to the maze or something like that. Now, Michael Beckwith has a way of looking at this where he calls it living from the overflow of God. And he says that when you live from the overflow, it's because you have the sense, and I'm going to say the feeling of certainty that all your needs are met. To me, that requires that I not demand that I understand what's happening right now. I don't, if I'm ill and I want to be not ill, I want to be healthy, I have to somehow, and I find this one the hardest one for me. I have to find a place in which I can recognize that all is well right now. I have to know that my needs are being met, and that it can be like a funnel where you have the real small end at the beginning and it goes out like this, right? So as I start here and I go like this, I start to get better and I start to do different things and I start to whatever's going to happen. Beckwith calls this the true definition of prosperity, knowing that your needs are met. And I have to agree. What it seems to require, what it requires when I feel it, is that I feel it. I sense it. There's something about really connecting with the divine that for me requires a sensing. And the way the mind helps is that if I get it straight, if I get it into a place where I'm not shooting on myself, I'm not saying you're not worthy, I'm not living in those false vibrational ways of being, then I'm going to be able to allow in just a little bit of grace, just a little bit at a time, which is really what we can handle consciously until that energy takes over and we get to ride it like a wave. So feeling is where all of our divine connection lives. It's 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 so interesting that all the great beings say that they cannot really describe what it's like to be one with God. They can't really teach it, and they all go straight to go do meditation. All the great beings do meditation so that you can become aware of the subtlety of the divine within you. That you can not just hear, like that, they talk about the still small voice, not just hear that, but experience something that has a different quality than the usual quality of your life. So you can't use the quality of your life to get more God. God's already here going, I'm here, use me. I can't use my brain 100% to 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 live there, but I can clear the clutter in my mind so that that stuff, that God stuff, can come through. Now, I created something called the 1% solution, and the basis of this is feeling, and it is that you can't allow yourself to go, I'm going to go from this place of 1% or 0% to 100% immediately. I can't, in other words, I can't pray for the boat and get the boat tomorrow necessarily. And that's not because of anything that God is doing or withholding. That is just our alignment is not yet finely tuned with that thing that we want. So, how do we get that feeling of incredible abundance that our needs are tended to when we're suffering, when we need a job, when we need healing, when we need a house, when we need to feel loved and we don't feel loved? How do we do that? Because if God is right here, we are made of, and we're made of God. How are we supposed to allow this connection? So one of those is, if you allow yourself, and this comes from the 1% solution, if you allow yourself to come away from the thing, the 100% outcome that you want, and step into just a moment, allowing yourself a moment of God stuff, allowing yourself to remember and to feel in this moment how it feels to have a slightly better feeling. For instance, if I feel, as I do these days, that I've got so much trouble with my spine, or not so much, but I've got trouble with my spine and it's causing different things. How do I heal that? I can go to healers and I can do all different kinds of things. The quickest mode, according to Abraham Hicks, is meditation. because in those moments, your mind is not operating and giving cross signals and keeping the godness out, being the rain, being the umbrella. And you just allow energy to go. You just allow it. That's a neat trick. I haven't really accomplished that, to be honest, but I do understand the process. I do understand that that is one place you can get your mind out of the way and you can just allow yourself to be. Because when it comes to my healing, I'm either striving really hard or I'm feeling helpless. And there, neither of these allow the God force in. I need to be following a pathway that feels loving. There's a God quality. I need to feel loving towards myself. I need to, if I'm in so much pain that I just can't really, whatever, I can't get to like a big aha, or I can't get to a big, oh, I'll just let go of this and I'll be okay. I have to identify what I would like to feel and then allow myself to just to feel it. So if I feel really bad and I say to myself, what are you really feeling? And I let myself get beyond the obvious answer of pain, I can say like I feel trapped or I feel hopeless. Um, and so then I ask myself, what would I like to feel? Don't let yourself go for the trap of I want to be fully healed in this moment. What would I like to feel in this moment? I would like to feel like I have possibilities or whatever your answer is. And when you do that, you are aligning your feeling body with the divine because you are allowing in the divine qualities, whatever they are, one of them or more of them. That if you pay attention to your body, if you pay attention to the subtle energies inside of you, you will recognize that you've just had some relief. And more than that, you will realize that there is this power that you have to continue to invite in those feelings. And you will, as Michael Beckwith says, you will begin to see reality differently. Once you extract yourself from this normal energy that we're so used to, which is our day to day, I have to deal with this thing, I have to deal with that thing, I have to go to this thing. And you will start to enter an expansion energy. We call it God when we feel it quite often. It's an expansion energy. You can call it God, and it is. I mean, everything's God, so no problem. Not too long ago, and I apologize if I've already told you this story, but not too many months ago, I experienced this expansive, surrendered, childlike feeling when I sat in my apartment, unable to really fix my life. I was like so tired of trying to find the job, trying to feel better for my knee, trying to just it's too much trying. And I looked out the window and I realized I got nothing. There's nothing I could do that's going to make this situation change. And I felt a sense of really clean, clear emptiness. And I felt relaxed. I felt open. I felt sad, but I also felt a kind of demanding, a kind of like, this is on you, God. This is on you. I got nothing. And you're supposed to be able to take care of me. So do it. And in that moment, and for many days beyond, I really felt held. I really enjoyed for those several days experiencing whatever came to me and following it in faith that it was perfect for me. That's not that's not been my normal mode. So I was just like a little healthy child, just allowing things to happen. And as a result, I wrote a whole book about my healing. And I mean, there's always something wonderful and amazing happening. And it seems to be so difficult to see it because I'm wanting to have something else or something more. So letting that go and letting myself find a way, find something to be okay with in this moment is really does change your way of seeing reality. I no longer see reality as immutable. I don't see it as the way things are. I see it as what we have created up to this second. It's so malleable. We can become the sort of coffee filter through which God's energy pours the hot water, and we become this amazing brew. But we can't force it through making ourselves be quote unquote better people. We can't do it by trying to become more worthy because we're already part of God. How much more worthy can you be? So Beckwith says, here's a couple of quotes for you: be for something and against nothing. I like that one. The next one is: to surrender is to yield to the next stage of our evolution. It is saying, I'm available to what wants to evolve and emerge through me, and I'm willing to practice and embody what it takes for it to do so. So again, that sense of alignment. And here's the point of all of this. We can wait for God's blessing if we like, but it's already here. Hard to hear when we're in the middle of something where we go, but I'm in hell right now. That's really hard to understand and hear. That's why the 1% solution of letting yourself feel just 1% better is very powerful. It doesn't fight with anything. You can pray for something better than your current situation, but if in your praying you have a doubt, you have oh God, I don't think I'm worthy of this, or I don't believe I can have this. If you keep yourself away from feeling the blessing of inspiration, you may be simply begging for something that you can allow yourself to feel. And when you do, the God stuff comes rushing in. So our work is to align with what's already here. Our work is to noodle around in our feeling and in our touching of that which we know, or we wouldn't be so fervently following it. We need to investigate until we get a feeling understanding that we can let go of certain kinds of work within us and allow God to do us, God to just live us. And in that, we are not pushed aside, because it is sort of like coffee in a coffee filter in one of those French presses, or not a French press, but whatever, something where the water is poured down through the filter. And if you are really good quality coffee, if you are reaching for expansion and that kind of prosperity thinking of, I'm taken care of, I am receiving everything I need, then you're going to see the results of that. You and I are love incarnate. When I think of these things literally, it does blow my mind. So I like to, because it challenges me to say, okay, so how do I make this happen? How do I allow this to happen? What do I do? Where can I noodle around next to let in some more, to unkink the tied garden hose that is my head? How can I unkink those things? So if you think of the fact that you are love incarnate, you are made of God's stuff, which means you have access in some amazing ways that you may not yet know, then you've stopped waiting for God in the ways that are unnecessary. And it becomes more of an adventure. It becomes more something of which you are not a victim. You are literally God's child, opening all the doors in the house going, is it in there? Oh, what's in there? Let me try that. What's in there? Let me try that. So that's the point of my talk about stopping waiting for God, and God will stop waiting for you.
Thank you, Lori. Does anyone else like to comment on the talk? Okay, Dave.
Lori, what I liked about your talk most of all, you kept using the word allow. And I recently kind of stumbled upon that. doing something I saw on YouTube. And like one of the things that I have had problems with over the years, it's like when I try to do like affirmations and you try to, invoke the I am, saying I am this,
Yep.
I am that. And then my subconscious mind said, yeah, right, whatever.
Yep.
However, if you make the subtle change, subtle yet powerful change by saying, I allow myself
Yes.
to be healthy, or I allow myself to be prosperous, or what have you, then your conscious and subconscious mind, yeah, you know what, I can get with that program. I can wrap my arms around that and make it more agreeable to all parts of you. So I just wanted to share that point. Thank you.
I find that word the most powerful thing. It does. It just takes a lot of stuff out of the way. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, Lori R.
I just wanted to say this is exactly where I've been for a couple months now, trying to find that place. And I come back to something I shared the other week. I actually made up a little design and I made a phone case for me with this on it. I don't know if you can see where's the camera? I have the rose.
Push it over a little bit. Like, there we go. Beautiful.
See it? I'm making a phone case out of it. And the words say, I'm speaking the impossible until my subconscious recognizes and believes it to be true. I know what's coming. I know what's been promised to me, and I know how my life is going to change. And I do see little pieces here and there, but I know there's a couple big things that are waiting. And the way that I have learned, like Dave said, Dave, you have to allow these things. You have to remember that sometimes there are things in us that need to change first. There are things that need to be moved out of our way. And some of these things do take time. It's not necessarily us that's in our own way. And we have to remember during those times, I am repeating these things over and over in my own mind until where now they're just automatic thoughts. I don't even have to tell it to myself anymore. It's already part of who I am as a person. And that has really helped me to get through some of these times, especially in my pain. I have been in a tremendous amount of pain since November to where it has stopped me in my tracks. And these are things I don't understand. And I have to go back to those places. I search my heart. I know I'm in the right place. I ask spirit. Sometimes I hear, sometimes I don't. But I have to allow in those moments and know that what is supposed to be happening right then and there is what's happening right then and there.
Yeah, I really love the word allow as well.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning of the prayer is God grant me. It's okay, you're asking. Because, you can't, and I've found from my own experience, you can't force yourself to let go. You can't force yourself to accept any of that. It's all a gift. And so, but it's a gift that we have to remove. We just need to get tired of holding up the umbrella and let all this stuff come in. And just imagine a big, heavy umbrella. Somehow you think that's what you got to do, but maybe you're afraid to let the pain in or something. But when you just go, I just can't, and then you get the gift of the serenity and the wisdom, so I love the word allow. I'm going to remember that. Since it is, St. Patrick's Day is the Irish blessing. I thought I'd read that. May the road right up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and the rain fall softly upon your fields. Until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Amen.